What's up, everybody? James Ang here. Welcome back to Recession Proof Business Tips. Today, we're going to be talking about the essential skills that every single entrepreneur needs to master in order for you to make more money, to create the business that you want to be able to have. If that sounds interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this as well. But we're going to talk about your business toolkit. So I'll share with you a story. I've been an entrepreneur now online for the last 14, 15 years. And I had a conversation with one of my mentors who's produced tens of millions of dollars, actually, probably hundreds of millions of dollars in our space. Actually, no, billions of dollars, twice in our space. So this guy knows what it takes to produce sales. In fact, it's in his name. Tim Sales is his last name, and it is actually his last name. And I went up to him one day and I asked, Tim, how do I produce more sales in my business? And I was expecting some secret hack. I was expecting some secret tip. I was expecting a latest and greatest strategy or technology. And he boiled it down in a very simplistic way. And he said, James, all you have to do if you want to make more money in your business is just one thing. I was all ears. I'm like, what's the one thing? He said, you have to do what's called the pipeline. And if you're not familiar with what the pipeline means, every business, every sales flow is going to have a different terminology for this. But the pipeline is the same process of events that every single organization needs to go through in order to get a new customer, in order to get a new partner. Every business goes through this, every single organization, a church goes through the pipeline. Realtors go through the pipeline. Online entrepreneurs go through the pipeline. Relationships go through the pipeline. There is a process that goes from a prospect not knowing what this thing is to knowing it and eventually becoming a customer of it. And to the extent that you understand the pipeline for your business, and to the extent that you increase the pipeline in your business, is going to be the direct correlation to the success of your business. And we have to understand this. You see, hard is easy and easy is hard. It's really easy to get convoluted in our business understanding. But if you can understand the pipeline for your business, it's going to allow you to hone in on the major things that are going to lead you to the better processes and the results that you're looking for. So what are the steps of the pipeline? In general, there's a couple of steps. Number one, let's backtrack here. Okay. Let's just use a relationship as an example. I've been married for 7.5 years now to love my life, Becky. And before we were married, and I want you to think about your relationship or maybe your previous one. I hope I don't bring up any bad memories right there. But before you were dating or before you got married, or anyone gets married, that is the final part. There was a series of events, wasn't there? So let's backtrack. Marriage. Before that, there was dating. Before dating, there was a part where someone asked them out on a date. Before someone asked them out on a date, there was a process when they had to realize that both parties were open to a date. And before that even happened, they had to connect in some way, shape, or form. You see, that is the pipeline. The same process that somebody becomes your eventual wife or husband is the same process as someone becomes your next dream client, your next dream partner, whatever that it is. So here are the couple of stages in sequence. Number one, in the pipeline, you must have a way to have contacts. You must have a way to have contacts. The more contacts equals more contracts. Okay. So you must have a way to generate more leads. That could be on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, for example. That could be in your actual phone contacts. For most businesses, typically where people start is their friends and family. You start up a new restaurant, you talk to your friends and family. You launch a new book, you're going to talk to your friends and family. You have a new product, you talk to your friends and family, right? You start there. Maybe your contact source is a networking group, right? There's so many different ways to generate contacts. Maybe run ads, right? So you have to understand there's contacts first. So you have to find ways to be referrals, right? You have to find ways to have more contacts. Now, from contacts, the next step in the pipeline is you have to understand that you have to find a way to qualify these contacts. Now, this might seem obvious, this might seem common sense, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes common sense things are not so common, especially when you're in the midst of building your business and you feel like, oh my gosh, where do I even go? How do I even start? And we lose sight of how this pipeline works. Okay. So there's contacts. Then there's qualification of these contacts. What does qualify mean? You need to find a way to make sure that with the contacts that you have, who are the contacts that could benefit from your product? Who are the contacts that can benefit from your service? And how do we find that? I'll use an example. Let's say you're promoting a product. I'm in the health and wellness space myself. And let's say I have a weight loss product. Yeah. I'm not just going to hit up every single contact on my list and be like, yo, I got this new health product. You should buy it. That's called being salesy. That's called being spammy. Have you ever had one of those spam messages before? Comment spam below if you've ever had that before. I've had that. And that's like a, ew, I don't want that to happen, right? So you know what you have to do is you can ask a question. Qualification simply means asking questions. Maybe make a Facebook post. And you might ask a simple question like, does anybody struggle with losing weight? Boom. You can ask a question like that, and people will then start to respond. And you know what you could do is you now have a list of people that have qualified themselves to being a potential candidate for your product that can then solve their problem. Here's another note. People don't buy products or services. People buy solutions to their problems. Did you get that? People don't buy products or services, they buy solutions to their problems. So in the qualification, you're assessing the needs and the wants of your prospects. So think, all right, I have my contacts. And then from there, what are the problems that they have that my business can solve? And find ways to have these conversations. It could be literally you asking them a question. You can be making certain posts. It could be you and your certain caption in your content strategy to highlight the problems that your business could solve. Hope this makes sense. Okay, now let's assume you have contacts. Now let's assume you've qualified the contact. The third part now is called an invitation. An invitation is taking this qualified contact and actually getting and confirming their interest in learning more about what your business could do. Okay? Because it's one thing to know someone's need. It's another thing, though, for them to affirm that they want help with that need. Have you ever had unsolicited advice before? Maybe you had a friend come up to you and they just came and they gave their 2 cents. And have you ever felt almost violated? You're like, I didn't even ask for 2 cents, right? No one likes someone nagging. No one likes to just get opinions dropped onto them. So we all want to be helped, but we all want to be the one to say that we want the help. So here's a big issue that a lot of entrepreneurs face is they don't know how to bridge the gap between a qualified contact and their presentation. The bridge is called an invitation. An invitation is the number one skill set to understand in any sales process. The invitation allows your prospect to self-select and say, yes, I'm interested in more information on something that could potentially help me with the problem that I'm looking for. So let's continue with this weight loss one. Let's say you have a contact and they said, yeah, I have struggles with weight loss. Then an invitation could be, hey, I noticed that you commented on my post. Just curious if I could share you some information on something that could potentially help you lose weight. Would you be interested in more information? Does that make sense? See, you're not saying, hey, I saw that you have a way to lose weight, buy my product. No, you're simply asking, hey, if there was something that could help you with your said need, would you be interested in some information? It's the same example of in the dating world. If you are single and you know someone else is single and you know they're open, You're going to ask them out on a date first and see if they're open for the date. You're not just going to be like, hey, I'm picking you up and boom, we're going to dinner. That's kind of creepy. You're going to ask first, right? Ladies, I don't know if you've ever had that happen before where it's kind of weird. You don't want to be the creeper. So ask them. You would ask them, hey, so, I feel like we got similar interests. I'd love to take you out for a meal. Would you be down to spend some time with me, right? Something like that. An invitation is like asking out the date. An invitation is getting confirmation that they're okay with receiving more information about their needs and wants, something that can help them with that. Okay, so you have contacts, you have qualification, you have invitation, and then you have a presentation. Okay, the presentation is the movie. The invitation is a trailer to the movie. So the presentation could be a live webinar. The presentation could be a pre-recorded call. The presentation could be an in-person meeting. The presentation could be any different way. However they need to receive the information, the presentation is the presentation. It gives the nuts and the bolts. Okay. It is the movie. But remember here, there's a big key. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that anyone in sales and business makes is they don't separate the invitation from the presentation. The number one issue that I see entrepreneurs make is in the beginning, we're so excited about our business, we're so excited about our product, we're so excited about our service that what we do is we verbally vomit on someone hoping that they're going to say yes. And what happens, and I made this mistake at the beginning, I thought I had it. I talked to my friends, I'm like, you got to check this thing out. It's going to change our lives. It's going to do blah, 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 blah. And we're just like dumping on them information that they did not even comply to want to hear in the first place. So what happens is information that could have transformed their life ends up repelling them. How do we fix that? Invite first, and then you present. And then the presentation is going to do what it does. Okay? So we have contacts. This is the pipeline process. We have contacts, we have qualify, we have invite, we have present. Last one is a follow-up. I have never seen any marriage happen where on the first date was a marriage proposal. If you have seen that, that's probably some movie, that's probably some reality TV show that don't really happen in life or an arranged marriage, right? But in normal marriages, the process is you ask them on a date, you go out on a date called the presentation, and then if they're interested, you then follow up with more dates afterwards until X amount of time happens where both parties are comfortable, and then they seal the deal, and boom, proposal happens and marriage happens. Yeah. In fact, if you are married yourself, how long was your dating process? Comment below. I'd love to know how long was your dating process. For me and my wife, we dated for 9 months. I proposed to her 9 months in, and then we got married 6 months after that, so just curious. So in your business, there will be follow-up. To do what? To answer their questions, to provide them more value, to give them more information, to boost up their confidence in whatever it is. Maybe you need more testimonials. Maybe you need to bring them to another presentation. Maybe you need to solve some other problems that they have. And you continue. It is professional to follow up, to continue to provide them value and information for how we can help them solve their problem. And we either follow up until they say, yes, this sounds great for me, or we follow up until they say, no, this is not good for me. And that is the whole pipeline process. In fact, if you're jotting down notes, especially on social media these days, it used to be that it takes 7 follow-ups for a yes. Now it takes around 9 to 11. Did you know that? So this process, if you understand this skill set, if you understand this pipeline process, it doesn't matter what you're selling in your business. Every business, it could be a book. I've sold books, I've sold courses, I've sold coaching, I've sold products, I've sold businesses, I've sold myself to my wife. It doesn't matter what you sell. You will notice that every single process will be the same. And if you understand the simplicity of this, and you understand how to grow in each of these areas, the more contacts you have, the more qualification you have, the better inviter that you have, the better presentation you have, the better follow up you have, the more business you're going to have. At the end of the day, doesn't matter how amazing your product or service is. If you don't go through the pipeline process, you're not going to be able to win. But if you do win and you do it well, going back to my original conversation with my mentor, Tim Sales, I asked him, how do I grow my business? And all he said was, do the pipeline more. I'm like, oh, that is it. I doubled the pipeline, paychecks up. You 10x the pipeline, paychecks 10x. That is simply what it is. So I hope this makes sense to you. If it does, like this, share this, subscribe to my YouTube, and comment below what it is that impacted you as well too. I hope this is something basic, but it's also something important because we tend to overcomplicate success in business. Stick to the basics, stick to the fundamentals, and scale it to the next level. All right, everybody. And if you like more information as well too, I do coach entrepreneurs to build recession-proof online businesses. We run an organization called the Warrior Movement. If you're looking for other streams of income, you're interested in more information like this, we provide this type of training plus a lot more in there too. If you like more info there, check out the link in my bio or the link in my caption that says work with me. Fill that out, and I'd love to be able to converse with you as well too. All right, everybody. Other than that, God bless. We'll see you on our next lives as we continue to go through recession.